So I'm going to tell you the story about my dog Ricky. He was sort of a member of the family. So it was me and my 5 brothers. I had 1 younger brother and 4 older brothers. And between the 6 of us, we really went to task torturing him. We would dress him up like a human, and he tolerated it. And my older brothers made a clubhouse in the backyard out of some tarps and some cinder blocks, and they would force him to sit through club meetings, which he tolerated pretty well, considering he was a Boston Terrier, and he was young, and he had a lot of energy, and he was just kind of tearing to go at all times. So he tolerated this pretty well, along with some of the other things that we did to him, but he really had this sort of boundless energy, and we would oftentimes flash light on the floor, and he'd chase after it, and he'd go crazy, and he'd shine up the wall, and he'd run up the wall, and he was one of those dogs that no matter how many times you threw the ball, he would still bring the ball back to you, and he just never got tired of chasing after the ball or chasing after the flashlight. So he's a really wonderful pet in that way that 6 kids couldn't tire him out. And of all the things I remember about him, his energy sticks out, his tolerance for having 6 young children terrorize him at all times stands out, and the day that he died stands out to me. It happened on a Tuesday, and I remember the day pretty clearly because every Tuesday my mom would get us ready to go to the library. The bus ran for free on Tuesdays, and it was an added bonus that the bus was designed to look like a trolley. So we could walk 2 blocks to the bus, get on the bus that looked like a trolley, and we could ride it all the way downtown for free. So every Tuesday this was our tradition. And on this one particular Tuesday, my mom had us all lined up, ready to go, and when she opened the door, Ricky bolted out the door, and he ran into the yard and then into the street and was immediately hit by a car and died instantly. And I remember it was a really solemn moment where my brothers and I, and perhaps some daycare kids, I don't remember if they were there or not, but where we all witnessed this happen together. And my mom went out into the street, and she picked him up, and she brought him back, and he was not alive any longer. And she wrapped him in a plastic garbage bag and dug a hole and buried him. So instead of going to the library, we had a funeral for our dog Ricky, and it was a very, very sad day. It's kind of funny too when you remember these things as a child. You don't really remember what you've heard, but for me, I remember the way that the dirt smelled, and I remember the way that the bag sounded, and I just remember us all being very quiet, very, very sad about what had just happened. As a result, my dad went to task putting up a picket fence in our yard so that if we had any dogs in the future that they couldn't run out into the road. And as far as I know, that didn't happen at any other point in my childhood, but it was a very, very sad day.